I know. I'm working on it.
Alright, today I'm working on John Jay's bumper, season 1 bumper. And let me shut down this music. I just glassed in the grill brackets. Custom grill brackets for you. Okay. And I also reinforced this, the mounting tab. It's a little thinner than I wanted. I think when I was making this bumper, I put a note in there to re-add glass later because I ran out of glass, out of the resin. So I got more resin in. I went and put like 3 more layers of glass on both mount flanges. It probably would have been okay, but it felt a little bit thin. So I just went and reinforced that a little bit thicker for you. And that's why I haven't shipped this out. I already shipped your rear bumper and most of those other parts to my other customers that I had finished, but this one stayed behind because of the grill brackets that I had to add to them. Yeah, so I'm gonna let this cure overnight, and then tomorrow should be dry, and then I can go and trim off the brackets because you can see I made them too big. So I'll trim those out, and then I can get those grills installed in here. Alright, my kids are doing art class today. They are homeschooled, and this is what they do for art. They're making pottery. Native Indians use this puki.
Mold so they can make pots.
Yeah, this is the mold. You put that clay inside this mold and let it sit overnight, and it'll dry. This clay air dries. It doesn't have to be cooked or anything or baked.
Look, she's in the. Bye-bye. Did you pick in? Yeah.
So that goes inside.
Put it all the way inside and then smooth it with this and put your pencil.
Alright guys, got these shelves trimmed back a little bit, and I trimmed off the excess fiberglass I put on the mounts, and you can see the black part is where the original mount was, and that's where I added more, and so now this doesn't flex at all, and that's what I wanted. Well, here's same thing, nice and sturdy. It was a little thin. I was worried it was a little too thin, so I went and re-glassed that. Like I said, I think I ran out of fiberglass when I was building this bumper, and that's the last part I did, left kind of thin, and I remembered I had to add some more, and that's what I did. So I'm gonna go and pre-drill these again. Alright, here's the grills. They're all made up. I drilled the holes, mounted the bracket on there with nut and screw. Now all I have to do is drill 3 holes on each of these brackets. Alright, got the first one in. That's the most important one because the rest one follow that one. So I got to make sure that one's nice and even, both sides. And it's pretty good. So this one I like to angle at an angle, but you can do it straight if you want to. But I'm going to ship it probably at an angle. And just FYI for you, for the customer, I put my finger within here when I'm mounting these. I put my finger here, and I do it on both sides, and that's the length, that's the distance that I do, is a finger width different distance from this bottom lip here on both sides, and that usually comes out really good. Now again, if you don't like where I put them, you could always unscrew them and drill your own holes and put them wherever you want, but I just try to make it look uniform. Alright, got 4 in now, 2 on each side. Okay, got them at a slight angle. Alright, on this side I went and used a couple spacers because these grills were a little bit short. I cut them a little bit short. This one seems a little bit better. If you don't put spacers in and you tighten these down too tight, what I notice happens is these grills, they start to bend a little bit from the pressure. And to eliminate the bending, just throw in a spacer, and that'll stiffen these up so they're more straight. Okay. And if you don't have spacers, you could always use like little washers. Put a two or three, however many you need. Like this one here looks like it's a little bit tight. It might need one of these. All right, guys, just finished up these grills. I'll show you a look. All right, so they're mounted. Now, if the customer wanted to, you could always trim this back farther up to, you know, pretty much where my finger is. You can trim all that off. I usually just leave it. It's not going to hurt anything. But if you wanted to clean it up and make it shorter, you could. There's the grills installed. And again, the customer could always unscrew these bolts and mount them however they want. They can close them, they can open them, they can have them at a slant, whatever you want to do. Okay, I have them at just a slight slant for you. That's how I'll ship it out. But if you like them straighter, have at it. You can adjust it however you want. And if you don't want to paint these, take them off before you paint the bumper in the car, and then you can put them on after. Or you can paint it with your car. You can paint it separately, black or whatever color you want. I know in the show sometimes it was black, sometimes it was the color you see here. So, all right, last thing to do is make some blackouts for this bumper. Those are some old ones from my car that I took off. And believe me, once you use the 3M tape to stick these on your bumper, they do not come off. I literally had to pry these off my car, and you can see once you pry them off, they get kind of full of glue from that 3M tape. So once you put these down, be prepared. I hope the car is painted and before you put these down. Don't put it down when it's primer, because you're gonna mess them up. You'll never get them off. So yeah, I almost forgot to make these. I was about to wrap this up like that, but so I gotta make 2 more of these. I got some brand new pieces here, and here's my templates. So I gotta go and shape those by hand and with the grinder and get them to fit in there. Everything's custom on this bumper, guys. Down to the grills, everything. So also, John, this is the customer that ordered this. I ran out of regular hex nuts. They're coarse thread, 1/4 inch. I usually use those, but I ran out, so I do have some of these stop nuts I'll include. And these things are really good too. They're just a pain in the butt to get them on and off, because they have a little nylon like gasket in there, and that's just to keep it from backing off. Not that this bumper needs it, but it won't hurt it. It'll make it a pain in the butt for someone to try to steal your car too, or to steal your bumper. If someone try to steal your bumper, these things will make it a pain in the butt for them to get it off. You know, it's not real easy to even when you get it loose, they're hard to turn. And another thing, the grills too also make it hard for someone to get their hand in there and to try to steal your bumper. Just things to think about, you know, about the benefits, pros and cons on using grills or not using them. So if you live in an area where you're prone to theft, and if somebody knows how much a Night Rider bumper costs, you know, that could be a pain in the butt if someone took your bumper off your car. So yeah, these lock nuts will kind of help to make it hard for that, and they'll never back out, and the grills will make it hard for someone to reach their hand in there to get to those nuts. But yeah, I'll include those. I'm putting them in the wrong way. When you put this on the car, you're going to want to go in from the inside, okay, not from the outside. I'll drill this one out a little bit more. So yeah, when you mount this on your car, I don't know, I like to put it in this way. I guess you can go either way, but just to ship it, for shipping purposes, I'll put it on the other way. Alright, so yeah, let me get these Blackouts trimmed for you, and this thing will be ready to be wrapped up and shipped. Alright guys, that's a wrap. This is the Season 1 nose bumper, John Jeske. Going out to John. It's got the covers cut and trimmed. The way I trim it is I got to trim the inside of it after I cut it as well, because this is not a perfectly straight line. It's actually got a curve on it, so I have to actually etch in that curve so it'll sit in there nicely. Okay, once you put that tape on there, double-sided tape, 3M tape. Now these might not be 100% perfect. You might still have to go back and sand it a little bit more for the most perfect fit, but it's pretty good. It's pretty close. Okay, but just depending on how perfect you want it, you could always go a little bit more. And then you got to think the thickness of the tape as well. You don't want it to be too high. So what I would do before installing this, say this bumper's painted, your car's done, you're ready to put your grills on, not your grills, but your blackout covers. What you want to do is take this paper off here, put your double-sided tape down on your bumper first. I'd go around here, up here, and go back this way, and even go down here. Okay, you could even put a strip here if you want. And then I would take this and sit it on there and see if it's flush here. See how it's flush right now with my hand? Okay, but with that double-sided tape, depending on how thick it is, it's going to raise it up. So you might have to grind the edges just a little bit right here on the edge. Okay, but for the most part, they usually fit pretty good, even with the tape on. Alright guys, that's a Season 1 nose bumper ready to go out and ship. Again, this is in primer. It's not finished in paint. You still have to sand this primer down with 400 grit or 600, whatever you're going up to. And your paint, when you paint your car, if you're going up to 800 on the whole car, then you want to sand this with 800, 600 and 800. And then you still got to take the grills off, paint those if you want them to, or leave them off and just leave it that color. And yeah, so this thing's a lot more work, a Season 1 nose bumper compared to a 4-season bumper. You're going to have more work. You're going to have more things you got to take off, like the grills, if you choose to have grills. And your turn signals got to go in there. But they are pretty easy to slide in. Now you can see there's 2 weep holes for the rain water to, if any moisture gets in there, can go through those weep holes. I made these a little bit longer on purpose, just in case there's a gap and you want to fill it in. If you don't want it, you could always trim that off. But I always do it a little bit longer than what it needs to be, just in case there's a gap that you don't like, it'll fill it in. But yeah, this is it. This is a Season 1 nose bumper from Jacob, Night Rider Shop. Alright. Be shipped out this week, and I can get on to the next project, is 1TV dash for another customer. Alright, one last look at the bumper before I wrap it up. It's inside the house. Alright. See if I can angle it up a little bit. See those grills. Alright, so that's another Season 1 bumper. I don't know how many I've made so far because I kind of lost track. I'd guess it's probably number 20 or 30. I don't know. Oh yeah. Been selling the Season 1 for, I don't know, I think like 3 years now. Maybe 4. Show you the inside one more time. See, these tabs are nice and thick. So good thing I reinforced them because they were a little too thin. Now they're solid. Now they're like a 1/4 inch right here. They're good.